Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name's Dave Perry. I'm the president and CEO of the Greater Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of our chamber membership, our board of directors, and our staff, welcome to the 2020 Oro Valley State of the Town Address. I've got to tell you, this is the first time in my life I've ever worked with a teleprompter, and I can't wait to tell my mom that I've really achieved a status in life here. This is the 19th annual State of the Town Address here in Oro Valley, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is the most unique among those events. We're outside. We're here in this beautiful setting here beneath Push Ridge. We're on the patio of Sundance Cafe here at Chamber Gold member El Conquistador Tucson, a Hilton resort. We're joined by just under 50 physically distanced guests for remarks by Mayor Joe Winfield, as well as our live stream audience that's with us today. We're grateful to everyone, both watching on TV and also those of you who are here in person. Let's start. I'm going to ask everybody to stand, please, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Our chamber has had great support and encouragement in moving forward with State of the Town in the midst of a pandemic. We're really appreciative of all that support. The way the structure will be today is that we'll open our program with some commercial breaks, some sponsorship acknowledgments, and announcements ahead of the mayor's speech. Please enjoy this first set of commercial messages.
Hughes Federal Credit Union is proud to be recognized by Forbes as one of Arizona's best credit unions 3 years in a row. This national recognition highlights our commitment to high-quality products and services, our customer service, digital services, and financial advice. At Hughes Federal Credit Union, we offer low rates on loans, lower fees, and many free services. Make the switch. Join Hughes today. Visit hughesfcu.org/best.
Our future is that we intend to be able to move and innovate at light speed, to lead the world in new ideas and new solutions, to explore whole new ways of thinking. Innovation is a collective process. It's an engagement process. It involves hundreds of people around a single thing, thousands of people around a big thing, hundreds of thousands of people around big ideas.
Welcome to Quail Park of Oro Valley, where life is living brilliantly here at our community. We love taking care of our residents. We have lots of activities. It's a great place to live. And one day when I retire, I plan on moving in here. So if that's not a testament to a community, what more can I say?
Tucson, we have your back. Right now at Tucson Federal Credit Union, you can get our lowest auto loan rate and no payments for 90 days. Yep, no payments for 90 days. Right now, get 1.99% APR to buy or refinance your auto loan. Call us at 520-795-8520 or visit TucsonFCU.com/Hot Wheels.
We want to welcome special guests who are with us today. From the Oro Valley Town Council, please welcome our highlighted speaker, Mayor Joe Winfield, here with his wife, Marianne, along with Vice Mayor, please applause, that'd be great. Along with Vice Mayor Melanie Barrett is with us today. I want to give special thanks and gratitude to outgoing council members Bill Rodman and Rhonda Pena, who are with us today as well. As well, we want to welcome newly elected council members Dr. Harry Mo Green Jr. and Tim Bowen, who will be seated at next week's council meeting. Great to have you all with us. Also, a warm welcome on this cool morning to Sahuarita Mayor Tom Murphy, who made the drive up. Tom, thank you so much. Pima County Sheriff and Oro Valley resident Mark Napier is with us. Oro Valley Police Chief Kara Riley is here. Golder Ranch Fire District Chief Randy Carr is with us. Members of our board of directors and everybody else, you're all special guests, and it's great to have you here this morning. One regular guest at State of the Town is not with us today. Last Friday, our community lost Lyra Doan, one of Oro Valley's most ardent and vocal supporters. Lyra ran our Chamber's Public Policy Committee for many years. Lyra Doan was truly a force of nature. Lyra loves sunflowers. To honor her today, sitting right here to my right, we have a chair holding a vase of sunflowers that was created by Chamber member Joyful Expressions by Jill. For those of you watching at home, sunflowers is our code word for door prizes. If you're watching, send an email to our Member Services Director, Dwayne Macklin, at Dwayne@OroValleyChamber.com, and that's DUANE at OroValleyChamber.com. On Monday, we'll sort through those emails to give away prizes donated by El Conquistador Tucson, a Hilton Resort, the Westward Look Wyndham Grand Resort and Spa, Top Golf, Lewis and Ivy Salon, El Conquistador Golf, Arizona Winery Tours, and the Oro Valley Rotary Club, which, by the way, presents Taste of Oro Valley on Sunday, November 8th. Remember, sunflowers in the subject line to Dwayne@OroValleyChamber.com, and I'm sure that Dwayne is going to be cussing my name come Monday when hundreds of emails land in his inbox. I also want to make sure that those of you who are watching, please be sure to take a look at our digital program. It's a flip snack, which is a new thing that I've learned about, and Kristen put that together. And you'll see advertising as well as other information about today's event. It's time for another round of commercials. Please enjoy these on the TV screen to my left.
Town West Realty has got you covered for all your Oro Valley commercial space needs. We are family owned and operated and have been serving the Arizona business community for over 40 years. Whether looking for office space, retail space, or a fully custom build out, Town West can help. We are currently offering virtual and self-guided tours of our premium selection of office, retail, and mixed use spaces. Get started today by calling Town West Realty at 520-615-7707. That's 520-615-7707.
Smart, simple, personal. At Pima Federal Credit Union, these three words set us apart. If you're looking for a home, think Pima Federal first. Our local full-service home loan team offers smart mortgage solutions, simple steps, and personal service every step of the way. Plus, take advantage of our low closing costs to make your next home purchase even more affordable. Now that's smart. Call or stop by today to learn about all the smart solutions Pima Federal has to offer.
We want to give further thanks today to Otten Suarez and everyone here at El Conquistador Tucson. You know, I saw our friend Nikki is our captain today, and Nikki and I, we've worked together on events here for 10 years, and it's so great to see her having some work, having something to do during the pandemic. I want to thank Mayor Winfield. Mayor Winfield is coming along with us on this journey, and we truly appreciate that. I want to thank Joe Lunny, Misty Nowak, Nick, and everyone at the town of Oro Valley for all the work that they've put into this morning's event. I want to thank Josh at PSAV, providing audio-visual support for us. I want to thank Bill and Katie Starr for videography and production work going on the cameras right here in front of me. I want to thank Jen, who's with our new teleprompter artist, Owens and Company. Thank you to the Oro Valley Police Department, which has officers here today. And I especially want to thank our staff, Martin Reichgott, Dwayne Macklin, and particularly our events director, Kristen Sharp, who's got this whole thing put together. One last round of commercials before we introduce our guest speaker.
Well, Acacia IT really is one of those few organizations that does everything well. Three things to remember about Acacia. The first is that they think ahead. They anticipate issues, problems, and provide solutions. The second is their top flight customer service. Not only do they think ahead, but they can deliver the goods. The third one is expertise. An issue comes up or a possible solution, Greg and his team at Acacia will find us the answers. If they don't have it, they'll find an expert that does.
So the coronavirus is changing our world, our lives, our work, just like it's affecting the rest of the country. One of the big differences with us, we can't just stop our work and let our system start degrading. Our employees are driving out to the job site, one per vehicle. They're constantly cleaning off everywhere they touch in the vehicles. They just deal with the social distancing and keep themselves safe. They know they have to be out, keeping our customers in power, and that work will continue to go on. It has to.
It's my honor to introduce our guest speaker today. Oro Valley Mayor Joe Winfield is completing his second year leading our community. Joe and his wife, Mary Ann, have called Oro Valley home for 24 years now, raising their family and enjoying all that Oro Valley has to offer. With enthusiasm, the mayor has joined me in door-to-door visits with Oro Valley business people, both before and during the pandemic. Of late, he's been sharing the news about OV Safe Steps, and he'll do so more today. He's here to tell you the story about the state of Oro Valley, where we are and where we're going. Please join me in welcoming the mayor of Oro Valley, the Honorable Joe Winfield, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give you the elbow bump here, Joe. Here we go.
Well, it's really a pleasure to be with you today. And I want to express my appreciation for your support. I'm going off a little bit of script here. I'll get on script in a moment so that Joe doesn't worry too much. But I just want to express my appreciation for your support. I appreciate all that's been done to help in terms of protecting each of you. And I believe that that is important. And it's really an important message that we have, as a town, have been trying to communicate. On behalf of my colleagues of the Oro Valley Town Council and town staff, I would like to welcome everyone to the 19th Annual State of the Town Address. Whether you are here at the El Conquistador in person or watching online, thank you for joining us today. Strengthening our connections to each other, to our family and friends, to our local businesses, has never been more important, and I'm privileged to connect with each of you today. This has been a challenging year, to say the least. As mayor, I participated in multiple conference calls throughout the pandemic to coordinate with federal, state, and local officials and follow the governor's executive orders. The town worked with Pima County and neighboring municipalities to address public health and how to protect our residents from COVID-19. The town also issued its own emergency proclamation and amendments to walk in unison with local government agencies. Town Manager Mary Jacobs and Police Chief Kara Riley were on many of those calls, and keeping our residents healthy and connected has been of great importance to us. Throughout it all, the Town Council has worked hard for the good of this community, and I would like to acknowledge and thank my fellow council members. Please join me in recognizing them, Vice Mayor Melanie Barrett, and council members Joyce Jones-Ivy, Josh Nicholson, Rhonda Pena, Bill Rodman, and Steve Solomon. Next week, we'll be swearing in 2 new council members, Tim Bowen and Dr. Harry Mo Green, and we welcome them to the Town Council. At this time, I would like to ask for a round of applause for council members Rhonda Pena and Bill Rodman for their service to the town of Oro Valley. It's much appreciated, Rhonda and Bill. I would like to express my appreciation to the Greater Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, President and CEO Dave Perry, and his resourceful and resilient staff, Martin, Dwayne, and Kristen. Dave and his team have continued to rise to each and every challenge with energy and optimism and enthusiasm. This is an Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce event. They have worked tirelessly for the businesses of Oro Valley during the pandemic and played a strong role in creating the town's business assistance program, and have been excellent partners. Please join me in a hearty round of applause. I would also like to thank our sponsors for their support. You are making this happen this year. Thank you. What encourages me and what I hope to share with you today is that the fundamentals of the town of Oro Valley are strong. We have weathered this storm remarkably well. The council and town staff are optimistic and hopeful that the hardest parts of this storm are behind us and we can enjoy the sunshine. Although the rain this week has been a welcome relief. 2020 has shown us that we can all learn new skills. A year ago, few of us had heard of Zoom video conferencing, and now it's second nature for most of us. Our town manager, department directors, and information technology team researched various solutions to keep the town's operations in business. At the heart of these decisions was the need to keep each of us connected with you, our constituents and businesses. One thing that has not changed throughout the pandemic is the engagement of Oro Valley residents. Collectively, you know how to make your voices heard. When we turned to video to inform and educate several neighborhoods about proposed planning projects, their response was impressive. You embraced these technological changes and stayed informed. The result was a notable increase in involvement and engagement. Over 1,400 people of these watched these informational meetings. That increase is not so much a success story about the town, it's about you, the residents. I cannot emphasize enough how proud I am of the staff for their ability to pivot, adjust, and take on the challenges the pandemic has threw at them all year. Thank you to Town Manager Jacobs and the entire staff for keeping the Town Council, town staff, and residents connected this year. Our Public Works Department continued building and maintaining our roads. Our stormwater utility stepped up and worked with our partners, Pima County and ADOT, to clear and clean washes after the Bighorn fire to prevent post-fire flooding. while our transit division continued to provide exceptional service, albeit to a smaller number of riders. And a special thank you to the Facilities Maintenance Division, who cleaned, sanitized, and maintained town facilities. Our water utility continued to improve and enhance infrastructure, while also reaching out to customers to improve water conservation. Our collective water conservation efforts will help us reap dividends. Fitch Ratings upgraded the town's water utility bond rating to AA. That speaks to the good stewardship of the water utility. I will be connecting with our public works and water utility personnel about their departments a bit later in the program. These past years have been particularly challenging for our Parks and Recreation department. No one wanted to see our facilities close, least of all our dedicated Parks and Recreation staff. But Parks and Recreation Director Christy Diaz-Trahan and her team have been diligent about providing pandemic-friendly options and safe facilities. They also received kudos for their work, including the Youth Engagement Award from the Arizona Parks and Recreation Association for a youth camp at Steam Pump Ranch. When we moved to online meetings and social distancing, our police department rose to the occasion to help keep residents and businesses safe and informed. I'll speak with Chief Riley about her first several months as police chief a bit later on. Her tenure as chief has been eventful, to say the least. Now I would like to talk about the town's strategic leadership plan. Let's start with economic vitality. In the spring, the town's finance department was paying close attention to the town's finances, monitoring tax revenue and expenses, which come from the state on a delayed basis. They did a remarkable job of providing financial projections to help council understand what was happening. In the midst of all this, they were completing the budget for fiscal year 20 through 21. You often hear people speak of complicated situations and say, we were building the airplane as we were flying it. I think it's safe to say our town manager and finance department were building the airplane as they were flying it, and they weren't exactly sure where they were going to land. This wasn't a unique situation to Oro Valley, but that's how complicated last spring was. We appreciate Town Manager Jacobs, Chief Financial Officer Dave Gephardt, and the entire staff for making the necessary adjustments to safely land the plane. We don't have audited numbers yet, but the town's response to the pandemic helped minimize the financial impact of COVID-19. As a result, staff estimates that we have added $1.8 million to the general fund balance during this time. That's a remarkable accomplishment. Clearly, the town's finance department is very capable. They recently received their 26th consecutive award for their comprehensive annual financial report, their 8th consecutive award for the popular annual financial report, and the procurement division received its 13th award for excellence in purchasing. Last year, the town council created the Budget and Finance Commission. The 5 members of this commission were appointed to review and analyze the town's finances and make recommendations to the town council related to these matters. They are not elected, nor are they staff, so they provide a different perspective on these topics. Again, it's all about connection. Our boards and commissions immerse themselves in their individual areas and help connect the town council with those issues. In this case, the Budget and Finance Commission helps connect the council to the town's economic vitality. The strategic leadership plan included several goals and objectives for economic vitality that have been accomplished. In July, the town council approved a primary employer incentive policy that is designed to attract and retain primary employers to help expand local job opportunities. Until now, the town didn't have an incentive program, and that put us at a disadvantage in attracting new businesses to Oro Valley. There are many bright spots on the horizon. University of Arizona Center for Innovation at Oro Valley will open soon. This is a new incubator focused on supporting bioscience discoveries. We broke ground on this project a little over a year ago, and we're nearing time to start talking about a ribbon cutting. This fall, the University of Arizona College of Veterinary Medicine opened its doors. These graduate students will spend 3 years developing their skills and will be career-ready veterinarians when they graduate in the spring of 2023. I believe that bringing scientists and educators and entrepreneurs together in Oro Valley will help spark an era of innovation that will connect Oro Valley to the next generation. To assist with these developments, last month the council approved an amendment to the zoning code related to the economic expansion zone. Another objective in the strategic leadership plan. This amendment will help attract and retain employers, but more importantly, the council saw the need to add language to allow appropriate pre-grading so the town has its share of shovel-ready sites, while also adding requirements so that these sites are re-landscaped in a timely manner if required. This demonstrates that we can develop responsibly. Annexation is another important topic prioritized in the strategic leadership plan. Last summer, the council adopted a comprehensive annexation strategy to guide the town's efforts into the future. Oro Valley has been built by multiple annexations since its incorporation in 1974. With this updated annexation plan, the town can grow and develop responsibly and maintain its financial health. The town is currently moving forward with the process of annexing the Westward Look Resort and Spa. Tackling the issue of the town's public safety personnel retirement system pension has been a priority for the town and for me personally. Oro Valley, like other cities and towns, continues to face an increasing unfunded liability in our public safety pension system. This is due to a variety of reasons, most of which are controlled by the decisions of others. We are working to shrink that liability responsibly. These pensions are important to our public safety personnel who work incredibly hard and put their lives on the line on a regular basis, and we want to ensure they are funded. The town continues to add money above the minimum required to improve funding. Thanks to the governor's distribution of CARES Act, funding to local cities and towns, we were able to include another $500,000 in additional funding toward this liability. The town's share of the state allocated CARES Act funding was $5.3 million. These funds were specifically designated for public safety and public health expenses incurred due to the pandemic. Applying that unexpected revenue source to the town's public safety functions freed up general fund dollars that were already allocated in the town's budget for other uses. A portion was used for operational needs brought about as a result of the pandemic, and some was set aside to help bolster the town's contingency fund. But $1 million was allocated to help support our local businesses. It was evident early on that many businesses would suffer. The major retailers have fared pretty well, but we knew it would be the small businesses, local restaurants and retailers that would need our help the most. That's why the town council directed staff to put together a plan and execute it as efficiently as possible. And so the town hired a consultant who many of you know, former Chief Operating Officer of the state of Arizona, Gilbert Davidson, who helped the town develop a program that not only provides direct assistance to businesses, but also communicates and advocates for patronage of those businesses. The town partnered with Dave Perry and his team and retained communications expert, the Gordley Group, to create OV Safe Steps. OV Safe Steps was created to help our local businesses and also to recognize that each of us has a role in reducing the spread of COVID-19. At its core, the program equates a healthy community with a healthy economy. We encourage Oro Valley businesses to enroll and take the pledge to follow public guidance and help prevent the spread of COVID-19. OV Safe Steps also provides financial relief. In fact, we recently increased the dollar amount that eligible businesses can receive. For personal protection equipment reimbursement, we've increased that to $1,500. For marketing, we've raised that to $1,500 per business, and you can still receive $500 for professional services. We're doing all we can to assist our small business owners. I strongly encourage you to visit ovsafesteps.com after this program and sign up and take advantage of those opportunities. And the program isn't just for the businesses. Customers can visit the website and look up Oro Valley businesses to see which health guidelines each participating business follows. That can help you make your choice of which businesses you want to support. Another way the town supports residents is with infrastructure. Earlier this week, I spent some time with Public Works Director Paul Kiesler and our Water Utility Director Peter Abraham to discuss how their departments have continued their efforts during the pandemic. Paul, it's great to meet with you.
Thank you.
You probably don't know this, but I have a soft spot in my heart for public works. As a landscape architect in the National Park Service, landscape architects have responsibility for designing roads.
Oh, really?
So I have, like I said, I have a soft spot for public works, and it's a critically important department in our community.
Yeah.
You know, as I do, how much people love our roads. But tell us, how are things going in your department?
Busy. Incredibly busy.
You've had some substantial projects that have been completed in the past 8 months.
You know, the biggest one is the La Choy improvements, you know, turning that rural 2-lane, very difficult to see pathway into a major arterial. That didn't stop. And frankly, I think the contractor was able to work faster because there was less traffic out there. Coming in on budget and on time for something that you had to project out 2 years. Yeah, nothing really slowed down.
And I was with Dave Perry the other morning visiting businesses in the Safeway Shopping Center, and we got a lot of compliments about the new entrance to the shopping center off of Tangerine. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, so that, you know, that's a huge safety improvement. You know, one of our most dangerous intersections in town was actually that northern exit out of Safeway. It was not able to go through the ADOT process to happen, so ultimately the town took over Tangerine Road in that section, and it was dedicated to the town. And then once we were able to do that, we were able to implement that entrance, and it only took a couple months to build.
The roundabout at Moore and La Cañada has been well received. It was received an award.
You know, the community really rallied behind us and allowed us to be able to shut down that entire intersection, which is really kind of unheard of in our business, to be able to get an entire workspace in a public road. And then, of course, from a safety standpoint, I mean, that roundabout, even the naysayers have come back and said, you know, now I understand. Now I really like that roundabout.
How about Oracle Road? I know that's not our responsibility. It's a state highway, but folks are always interested in being updated.
This is a critical corridor for us, and for it to be in the condition that it's in, it needs to get fixed. And the ADOT board heard us, and they subsequently put the money towards it. It's gone out to bid, and I believe bid opening is happening the end of this week.
Well, Paul, I really appreciate the opportunity to have this brief conversation with you, to get an idea of some of the challenges that you've had during the pandemic. You've clearly worked through those with your staff, and we have the products that show for that: the La Cholla Boulevard, the new entrance to the Safeway Plaza, the roundabout, the adjustments to transit, and other things, the street, ongoing street maintenance and signs and crosswalks and so on and so forth. We appreciate your leadership. We appreciate the care that you have for the facilities that make our community what it is. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Peter, it's good to meet with you and to have a conversation about the water department. Tell us about, admittedly, water is somewhat hidden in the sense of what's happening in the water department. Share with us some of the projects of the past 8 months or so.
We're constructing a new 500,000 gallon reservoir in the Law Reserve area. We continue with
So describe that, because when I hear reservoir, I think of this open body of water like we see on La Cañada. Is that what we're talking about, or are we?
No. So this is a potable water reservoir. Our reservoirs are tucked away in the hills and valleys of beautiful Oro Valley. It's an 18-foot tall, 80-foot diameter steel tank, and it's enclosed. Additionally, we're rehabilitating groundwater wells, booster stations, and other capital reinvestment projects. And fortunately, we're able to take advantage of doing these projects because of the council's approval of the 2018 bond money.
Water conservation remains an important initiative for the town. Could you talk a little bit about that and what we're doing to try to increase water conservation?
The Oro Valley Water Utility employs one full-time water conservation specialist. And what this person does is they reach out to the community with educational materials. They go to HOAs and present information on water conservation. One of the services we provide is customers with high water use. We provide what we call a water audit. And that's where our water conservation specialist goes to the customer's home, looks at their water consumption, and gives them ideas on how to reduce their use. We're still performing these functions, but we're practicing social distancing and the wearing of masks.
This past year, we had the lowest rainfall in a number of years. What can you say to our community, Peter, to help reassure them that we're doing everything that we can to assure that we have water now and going into the future?
Well, one of the things that's important to remember is even if locally we see less rainfall than normal, what's really important is what's happening in the upper basin states, what's happening in the Colorado mountain range, because our CAP supply is dependent on what happens in those upper basin states. Fortunately, the last 2 years, we've had above average snowfall, above average runoff, and it's preserved the water levels in Lake Mead.
So looking ahead, Peter, are there some projects online that we can anticipate in the coming years?
One of the big projects is a partnership project we have with the Metro Water District and the town of Marano's water utility. We call it our Northwest Recharge and Recovery Delivery System. What we've done is we've partnered with 2 other water service providers to deliver additional CAP water that we're storing in Avra Valley to our service area. Had we gone alone at a project like this, the debt we would have to take on would be incredible, 3 times what we would have to in this partnership. But because of this, we're going to be able to bring in up to an additional 4,000 acre feet a year of CAP, Colorado River water, to our service area. This is in addition to the 2,600 acre feet we currently deliver now.
Yeah, that's wonderful, Peter. And we certainly appreciate, I know on behalf of the council, we appreciate your leadership. We appreciate the staff of the water department. All of us as residents of Oro Valley are grateful that we can just simply turn on the tap and have water that's safe and good to drink. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm happy to do it. And let me rest assured, we wouldn't be as successful as we are if it hadn't been for the leadership, the support of council, and the support of our community. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate Paul and Peter very much. I have to say, Dave mentioned that this was his first time using teleprompters. It's my second time in my life. And this right teleprompter is incredibly hard to read because of the sun. So I'm favoring this one. I'm just going to put that out there. But I want to thank Paul and Peter for connecting with me about infrastructure and the challenges they faced during the pandemic. They've done a remarkable job. Maintaining an active lifestyle during the pandemic has been a challenge for many people. One of the things I enjoy most is to head out on a trail and go hiking with my wife, Mary Ann. I look up at the Catalinas behind us and it just makes me want to get out into nature. Connecting to our environment and nature is equally important. And it's one of the reasons the town's Parks and Recreation Department has the motto, Inspire Connection Through Recreation. Oro Valley is a great place to call home, and these mountains are such a wonderful backdrop to our community. We have some of the best hiking and biking trails in the area. Those trails, along with our multi-use pathways, have been heavily utilized by our residents as many gyms and athletic facilities have been closed. The Parks and Recreation Department has been taking a comprehensive look at all of our facilities and assembling a Parks and Recreation master plan. This was identified as a goal in the strategic leadership plan. The first steps of this process was a needs assessment, which was done through community input. The results of the needs assessment have been compiled, and for the next step, we will need you, our residents, to provide your insights and comments on the concept plans. The town will announce how you can get involved in November. Your feedback is necessary for our Parks and Recreation staff to solidify master plans for our parks and facilities, and also for the town council to prioritize how we will address the culture and recreation needs of our community in the coming years. You may recall that last October, the town council voted to continue operating two 18-hole golf courses. With some caveats regarding the level of tax subsidy the council felt was appropriate. Earlier this year, the town competitively solicited proposals for the operator of the town's golf courses. That process led to the selection of Antares Golf, formerly Billy Casper Golf, to manage the town's 36 holes of golf. Early returns are positive for Antares and the golf courses, and we expect the management company to be able to operate within the subsidy level the council established. Memberships and revenues are increasing, and we're thankful to Antares Golf to have Antares Golf aboard and wish them continued success. And we ask for your support by considering purchasing a membership. Earlier this year, the town notified HSL that it would discontinue operation of the 9 holes of golf, known as the Push Ridge 9, here at the El Conquistador. Recently, the council extended the deadline for a memorandum of understanding with HSL to exercise the lease of the 9 holes. For the benefit of the residents in the hotel, we're hopeful a resolution to this property can be reached. I'm excited to announce that in a few weeks, the town will host the grand opening of the Naranja Park Playground. This playground was another objective of the strategic leadership plan. Town staff have worked diligently throughout the pandemic to complete this important project. I know it will bring enjoyment and some shade to future generations of children and their parents and grandparents. Another service that is important to all the generations in Oro Valley is public safety. Earlier this year, the council selected Kara Riley as our new police chief after the retirement of Chief Danny Sharp. Community policing is at the core of our police department's mission. It's been an eventful few months for Chief Riley, to say the least. I sat down with Chief Riley to discuss her first several months as police chief. Chief, it's a thrill to meet with you. And you've been in your position now several months. Share with us how are things going?
Well, as you can imagine, thank you for allowing me a few minutes with you. But as you can imagine, the first several months were very busy. It seemed like every day something new, direction. You would start in one thing in the morning, and by noon it had changed. And so it has been a challenging first year as the police chief, but certainly very rewarding in the sense that it's humbled me to realize the leadership that we have at this agency, but also the staff, the officers, the telecommunicators, records, everybody. And we've been able to come together as a team, even more so than in the past, I think, to really continue to serve this community. Every day I would walk in and ask the question, am I serving this community well? And am I keeping my officers safe? And if I could answer those two things by the end of the day, I was happy.
How is the pandemic? What adjustments has the department has made and is continuing to make as a result of the pandemic?
I tell people, you and I got to know each other very quickly, unexpectedly, I think, because it was a very busy time back in March and into April. And some of the things that we did adjust is really how we ask a lot of different questions when the emergency calls come in, so that our telecommunicators know, is somebody at the call? Are they feeling sick? Are there any signs of, flu-like symptoms, things like that? And we still will probably continue those questions for many, many, many more months. And it may be indefinite, because those police officers are the ones that are going to be the first ones responding and getting potentially exposed. So that's some of the information we want to know. We also would encourage officers at times, instead of where we would normally go into a residence, we might ask them to step out and talk to us instead. We did encourage, and still are encouraging, phone reports. However, if the person calling in wants to see us in person, then certainly we are going in person. So it's those type of things that we just had to adjust a little bit. And then there are calls for service. You just didn't have a choice. You just had to go, and we had to make sure that the officers had all their protective gear updated, making sure that we provided easy protection gear that was quick to put on. So you'll see a lot of them walking around with what we call gaiters, and it's kind of like a scarf they'll just pull up, and it keeps them safe. So it's those type of things that we just had to adjust during these times. Certainly some of our deployment was a little bit different as well. We were called to businesses for unexpected things that we never have been called for before. So patrolling more in the businesses, and then also patrolling in closed businesses as well.
How about the testing protocols? What's in place to help protect our officers in regards to testing?
We have a full protocol that we work with HR on if there is an exposure of some kind. And you have to remember that a lot of this is a common practice for first responders, just because we end up getting exposed to things like hepatitis, MRSA, things like that. So it's that process that we've already had in place. It's just one of those that we're working a lot closer with HR on right now.
Our community has always had a high regard for public safety and for law enforcement. We've seen throughout the community some unfortunate tension between law enforcement communities. What do you attribute to the good rapport that our community has with law enforcement in the town of Oro Valley?
I think it's a lot of different things, but it is a passion of mine to talk about it, which is community policing has been the core of this agency since its inception. And so I think that that's where we are different than everybody else in law enforcement, in my opinion, where we respond to calls for service because it's important to that person at that time. And so it's that core engagement that we have with our community, our outreach to the schools, our outreach to the businesses. We engage them ahead of time so that if there is a critical situation like a pandemic, we're already engaged and they're comfortable coming to us and telling us, hey, we need this, or this is the direction that we need to go. And so I think it's been very helpful to have that already pre-established relationship. And certainly, I could not thank our community enough with their support of law enforcement and all of the members of our agency. And frankly, the town, they've been amazing to work with. And the public has just been so generous with all of us.
Chief, as you look back over the past nearly 8 months, is there something that stands out, a particular highlight or something that you're proud of, whether it's an event, a program?
You know, two things come to mind. First off, and I say this often, it has reminded me that we have the finest men and women in the law enforcement profession right here in Oro Valley. And every day that I get the opportunity to lead them, I'm so fortunate. And through this pandemic and all this emergency, it really has brought that to light again, and a reminder to all of us, in particular in command staff. I have several pillars of leadership that I stand by, and one of them is surround yourself with good people. And I can tell you that after this past 9 months of leading the agency through this very difficult time, the command staff that has guided me, and I refer to it as a roadmap of leadership that has occurred. And I could not be sitting here today with you and being successful to where we're at if it weren't for them. And so the team effort that we've put together and to keep continuing to serve this community has just been, I'm so fortunate. I'm so lucky that I have them there.
And then looking ahead for a moment, what are your hopes for the department going forward?
Well, we're starting to settle down, it seems like, where I'm starting to be able to get some projects done that I spoke about. But one of my biggest pushes that we're really wanting to focus on is wellness for law enforcement. This is a very stressful job, as you know, and so we really want to focus on talking about physical fitness and nutrition and things like that. So we're starting to work on that proposal, and I'd like to really start to focus on some of our statistics and analyzing crime trends a little bit better. So it's those type of things that we're starting to be able to do. It seemed the first few months it was just panic mode constantly, versus now we actually have some time to kind of sit back and really focus and push forward.
You know, I appreciate the time that we've had to have this conversation. You know, your selection was a several-month process. I can certainly affirm that we chose the very best of the best, and we are very fortunate as a community to have you as our Chief of Police, Chief Riley. Our selection of you is certainly a highlight for me as the mayor of Town of Oro Valley, so thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You know, I'd like to thank Paul Kiesler, Peter Abraham, and Chief Riley for their time and for allowing me to collect with them and to learn more about what they do and how they and their teams work to improve the lives of Oro Valley residents, the business owners, and leaders of this community. Would you please just join me in a round of applause for them and for all that they represent above their town staff. The pride we all take in this community is a big reason Oro Valley continues to be a desirable place to live, work, and play. As you've heard, we're making progress on many of the goals and objectives of the Council's Strategic Leadership Plan. Of the 58 objectives in the plan, 17 are complete, 34 are on schedule, and we'll keep plugging away at those remaining 7. Clearly, the town is well positioned to face the challenges ahead. Much of this year has been virtual, as they say. Out of necessity, video and video conferencing have been key components of how many of us have had to connect this year. The town upgraded its website, adding several new enhancements for outreach and communication. It's important that the town measure analytics and social media stats so we can ensure that we're casting a wide net to connect with our residents. But these tools do not and should not replace face-to-face human interaction. We simply cannot replace the value of conversation with family, friends, and coworkers. In these unusual times, I urge everyone to connect responsibly with your neighbors, your local businesses, and your government. Over the next few months, the town will be upgrading the council chambers to expand seating capacity and allow for better remote participation. When we are back to in-person meetings, we will be able to accommodate more people in the council chambers and online. There is one more thing you can do to help us connect. Please make sure to vote November 3rd. I would also like to thank everyone on the town staff for their efforts this year. All of you have been rock solid, and I, along with the entire council, are very thankful for all of you. I would also like to thank Town Manager Mary Jacobs for her commitment and leadership. Thank you, Mary. Please join me in. This event, like all events, requires a lot of planning, coordination, and hard work. I would like to express my appreciation to everyone who's had a role in this year's State of the Town. Thank you. As you can imagine, it's been my good fortune to have been supported by many individuals this past year in a variety of ways, and I'm grateful for each of them. But admittedly, there is one person who stands above the rest, and that is my wife, Mary Ann. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Kristen. Many of our small businesses, in closing, I urge all of you to stay connected with each other. Many of our small businesses are just starting to get back on their feet, and it will be some time before they're back to where they were before COVID-19. Please support them. As you've already heard today, the town is in solid financial shape. Our priorities, public safety, public works, water utility, and parks and recreation are all in good hands. And we have the leadership and guidance we need to sustain the town. It is a privilege to serve as your mayor, and I look forward to connecting with each of you in the coming years. I will leave with you a debut of a new promotional video created by Visit Tucson. During these times of social distancing, people are turning to outdoor recreation more than ever. This video celebrates the beautiful, wide open spaces right here in Oro Valley. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for those wonderful remarks. You've done such a great job leading our community, and we truly appreciate the effort that you've put in. I want to share with our guests that, we've got people here in the sun who are trying to watch the TV, and as I watch them, everybody's got their hand up like this, and it reminded those of us of a certain vintage. You remember when the movies came out with 3D, and you see the photograph of people in 3D movies, and they all had those glasses that we held up to our faces, or at least my parents held them up to their faces anyway. But anyway, thank you all for being here. We've got 2 more pieces of business to take care of. I want to thank our event sponsors and corporate members, and watch this video, please. Their recognition by the voice himself, Martin Reichgott.
Thank you to today's sponsors. Our gold sponsors, Acacia IT, Arizona Daily Star, Arizona State University, El Conquistador Tucson, a Hilton Resort, HSL Properties, Hughes Federal Credit Union, Pima Federal Credit Union, Whale Park of Oro Valley, Roche Tissue Diagnostics, Sierra Tucson, Splendido at Rancho Vistoso, Town West Realty, Tucson Electric Power, Tucson Federal Credit Union. Our silver sponsors, Bear, Casa de la Luz, Cox Communications, Desert Diamond Casinos, Fairwind Desert Point, Fishkind Bakewell Maltzman Hunter and Associates, Boulder Ranch Fire District, MHC Healthcare, Northwest Healthcare, 1AZ Credit Union, Pima Community College, State Farm Wendy Wise, Tucson Local Media, Tucson Roadrunners Hockey Club, Vantage West Credit Union, our commerce sponsors, Chase Building Team, Heinfeld Meach, Meritage Homes, Republic Services, and Visiting Angels.
Thank you all for being with us today, both live and in our viewing audience. Remember, email the word sunflowers in the subject line to Dwayne at OroValleyChamber.com for a chance at these great door prizes as we're describing them. We'll close today with words from Sierra Tucson and El Conquistador on the screen. Have a great day, be safe and well, and may God bless you and yours.
Everyone can use support, and everyone needs hope. Change starts here at Sierra Tucson. We offer inpatient and residential treatment as well as outpatient services. Everything we do is to support health and healing for you or a loved one. Our highly skilled medical, nursing, and clinical staff use the Sierra Tucson model to provide integrated trauma-informed care that addresses pain, mood, trauma, addiction, and co-occurring. We treat the whole person, mind, body, and spirit using evidence-based treatment. Sierra Tucson is world-renowned for offering compassionate care and clinical excellence. Everyone needs hope. Start your journey today, and we'll be there for a lifetime of support. Sierra Tucson, where change begins.
As the sun rises over the Oro Valley and shines upon El Conquistador, a spectacular new day is born. A celebration of life begins again in the desert Southwest. The day is yours. Make of it what you wish. Today we ride. Today we play. Today we rest. We do not do things here in an ordinary way. We reach back to our culture and reach forward to the next generation to celebrate what makes this land so great. We want you to experience what makes us so proud. Our way of life, our traditions, our music, our art, our people. What makes us different? We are uniquely Southwest.